Blue is hands down the best rival ever created by Nintendo. He's got a team of insanely strong Pokemon, not to mention he always seemed to be one step ahead of Red. And that got me thinking, well, would he survive if we threw him into SoulSilver in a Hardcore Nuzlocke? Meaning, if anyone on his team faints, they are officially out of the challenge and cannot be used in any future battles. With our limited encounters and Johto's insane early game, is this challenge even possible? Well, there's only one way to find out, as we spawn into the world as Blue. It took me a little bit to get all the sprites working, so please, if you want to support my efforts, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay tuned for future manga content. It's a rare manga moment here as Blue gets reunited with Crystal, and also probably the second best rival ever, Silver. He's gonna be our main obstacle throughout the journey as he keeps his Totodile for the super effective matchup against our starter Charmander. Of course, Charmander isn't a traditional Johto starter, but I wanted to change it so we could mirror his manga journey. Blue and his Charmander actually have one of my favorite manga moments. In the first panels where we meet them, Blue and Charmander just charge head on to attack a wild Mew. Honestly, I think their dynamic is one of the reasons why Charmander ended up as my favorite Pokemon. Like, every time the two of them fought, Charizard was just this looming presence behind Blue, and you just know some crazy stuff is about to go down. Now that we've got access to Pokeballs, the first thing I do is catch our only other encounter for this section of the game, which is gonna be a Pidgey on Route 29. In the manga, Blue's Pidgeot was one of his original team members, and he played a huge role in scouting ahead and being Blue's transportation in the air. Our two guys can handle Sprout Tower pretty easily, defeating the Elder at the top and collecting enough XP to take on Falkner. It's a 2v2 as we start with Charmander to take care of his lead Pidgey. Ember is a 2-shot, so we can clean him up pretty easily and also get some chip on his Pidgeotto. Unfortunately, we don't get a burn, and Pidgeotto actually does decent damage with his evolved stats. But we've still got our second team member in the back as Pidgey comes out to clean up the rest of the battle, fighting our way through the roost spam and just barely taking him out with a quick attack, winning us our very first gym badge. And we still can't catch anyone new since all of Blue's strong encounters are locked off to the second half of the game. So we bring our little team of two down south of Violet City, clearing through the route and heading through Union Cave. On the other side, we arrive at Azalea Town, where we witness Team Rocket causing some trouble at Slowpoke Well. Team Rocket's plan so far seems to be Step 1, block off Slowpoke Well, Step 2, harass the elderly in Azalea, and Step 3, wake up Giovanni with the Rocket Orb. Well, it seems they've angered the wrong elderly as Old Man Kurt charges in to put an end to their elder abuse. We end up being the one to clear through all the grunt battles, taking out Proton at the end, and even getting an evolution to conclude the moment. Team Rocket shuffles out of here, so with the Slowpoke rescued and our XP collected, we've got to get ourselves ready to take on Bugsy. He's only got one real threat, and that's his lead Scyther, but we've got our newly evolved Charmeleon to take him out. I strategically went for an Ember to keep him out of Citrus Berry range, and since he's definitely under 40 HP now, we can tank a quick attack, which is Technician boosted by the way, which is why this fight is so notoriously difficult, and then we fire back with the Dragon Rage, getting the clean knockout and taking out the real challenge of the battle. Then, his last two Metapod and Kakuna go down to an Ember apiece, giving us a very clean badge number 2. There's a rival battle against Silver on our way out, and he's actually got his Croconaw now, but early game Dragon Rage is just too strong and ends up sweeping through his entire team. So with Ilex Forest now available to us, our encounter pool is drastically expanded as we can finally start filling out the team. We clear through the Farfetch'd puzzle, which also gives us access to the charcoal to boost our fire moves, but that's not what we're here for. Inside the heart of the forest, there's a guy here who teaches us Headbutt. It's a strong normal type move for this point in the game, but that's not exactly what we want it for. By headbutting the trees, we can get access to a secret encounter table, which is totally separate from the tall grass, that being a wild Execute. In the manga, Team Rocket's radio tower shenanigans was causing some wild Pokemon to go crazy and attack random people, so Blue stepped in and caught these guys to calm them down. Executor's one of them, so I made sure to catch his pre-evolved form for some nice Leech Seed tech. On our way up the route, we also catch a temporary Drowsy to give us another encounter. Inside the Goldenrod department store, there's an NPC here who wants to trade a Drowsy for his Machop. This is the earliest we can get access to the Machop line, so I made sure to grab it because it'll be really useful for the next gym. In the manga, Machamp was another one of those powerhouse Pokemon that Blue had, and you know if he sent him out, Red was gonna be screwed. They faced off in the final fight of the Kanto arc, and this is where Red used his infamous Hard and Snorlax strategy to block Machamp's fighting attacks. Never change, Red. This is why you are the main character. Blue would never use Hard and Snorlax strategies in a champion fight. Inside the game corner, we can also grab an Abra as a gift Pokemon, which was another Radio Tower catch. Just like Exeggutor, Blue had to catch a wild Alakazam to stop it from rampaging around and attacking people. And then, up north of the city, we can catch another encounter here, that being a Vulpix on Route 36. In the manga, Blue and Red had accidentally mixed up Pokeballs, and they just so happened to be targeting the same wild Ninetales at the time. Blue was struggling to command Red's Pika, and meanwhile, Red was struggling to command Blue's Machoke. This is actually the moment Machoke evolves into Machamp, and since Machamp did most of the work to weaken Ninetales, Blue just sort of claims the catch as his and adds Ninetales to his team. And finally, we only have one more encounter to add to the team, and that's a very special Scyther from the bug catching contest. The contest pulls from a different encounter table, so we needed to make sure it was a contest day to catch this guy. In the manga, Scyther was Blue's very first Pokemon, and the two of them had a very strong bond from childhood. He didn't make too many appearances in the Kanto arc, but when he did, it was for his fast attacks and maneuverability. I like how after he evolves into Scizor, he pivoted more towards his defensive abilities to go along with his new steel type, but he still kept his calm and serious demeanor just like his trainer. We boot off Execute to make room for him, and that's thankfully all the encounters we have to worry about in this section. Whitney's the next big obstacle, and it's a great time for Machop to stretch her legs and score some super effective hits. Whitney leads with Clefairy, but our Karate Chop is just too strong and ends up one-shotting her. It's the same story for Miltank, as a low kick can sweep the fat cow for extra damage. We are also immune to her Attract, so we can keep the same strat going for now, but Miltank outspeeds and flinches us with Stomp. Scyther can tag in to finish off her remaining HP, meaning we can wrap up this battle and collect ourselves badge number 3. With Whitney recruited, she helps us unlock the Pokeathlon, so we've got access to the evolution stones now. We do some jump minigames with our big jumpers, who's just Scyther, Pidgeotto, and Kadabra for some reason. We totally dominate the minigames, getting huge combos in the trampoline one, catching all the high point throws in the frisbee one, and honestly, kind of failing the hurdle one since it's really tough to control 3 guys without using a stylus. We collect enough points for a Firestone to get ourselves a Ninetales, and since most of her moveset will be from TMs anyway, there's no need to delay the evolution any further. Machop helps us take care of the Sudowoodo blocking our path, so now that we've got Ecruteak unlocked, we can head into the Burn Tower to take out Silver again with the help of our OP Dragon Rage, and also set the legendary Beast loose. That's all we've got to do for this section, so the next item on our list is to take on Morty and his ghost types. Luckily, the Ghastly line is also part poison, so Kadabra can put in the work despite being weak with his psychic type. We outspeed with Psybeam, taking out his Ghastly in a single hit, and chaining the kill to get his Haunter too. But Gengar threatens a Shadow Ball, so we can pretty easily switch into Pidgeotto for the immunity. And Gengar's only move that can damage us is Sucker Punch, so by spamming the non-attacking move Sand Attack, we can stall him out of the 5 Sucker Punch PP to very slowly take him out with Gust. We do the same for his final Haunter, letting us walk away with a pretty simple badge number 4. The next destination on our list is gonna be Olivine City, so we got the team ready to head on over. Silver actually stops us again as we enter, but he's not looking for a battle, so we can dodge him as we clear through the trainers heading up the lighthouse. Amphi needs her medicine in order for Jasmine to go back to work, so we took on the responsibility to surf over to Signwood to retrieve it. And this is also the location of our next gym challenge, so we might as well knock it out while we're here. Scyther has the Technician ability, which powers up our moves that are under 60 base power. So Wing Attack, instead of being 60, is upgraded to 90 damage, plus our stab boost, plus being super effective, easily demolishes Chuck's Primeape in a single hit. Poliwrath somehow manages to tank it, and he counters back with a Hypnosis as his only out. But we predicted that since I had a Chesto Berry equipped to play around it. We immediately wake up and outspeed on the next turn, finishing him off and winning us a very fast badge number 5. Back on the mainland, I realized that we still have another encounter we can grab. Since we have access to Surf, we can catch ourselves a Psyduck, replacing Kadabra as our pseudo-psychic type. In the manga, Golduck was another key member of Blue's team, serving as his main mode of transportation in the water. Sometimes I think Golduck is kind of a goofy team member for Blue, but then you see how much he towers over the rest of his team, and then it puts into perspective how menacing he would be in real life. He's also the psychic assist for the team, using his innate psychic powers to communicate with the Pokédex a few times. So with our new team member, we can surf our way into the Lake of Rage to take out the red Gyarados, convincing Lance to recruit us to infiltrate Team Rocket. The fights here are not tough at all since the grunts are extremely underleveled, so we can grab the password and team up with Lance for the tag battle. I don't know, this double back sprite is so cool to me, but as per usual, it's a quick cleanup thanks to Lance and his overpowered Dragonite. That's all we have to worry about for the Team Rocket story for now, and that's the perfect time since gym number 6 is waiting for us. Pryce and his ice types are such a pushover, especially that we've got the super effective Machoke to use our strong fighting moves. The unevolved Seal goes down pretty easily, Dugong too, since the strategy of putting yourself to sleep with rest isn't really that reliable. And lastly, his Piloswine follows suit thanks to a few low kicks, giving us a very quick and simple badge number 6. Our 7th gym is gonna be Jasmine, but since the devs kind of failed when they designed her team, literally any super effective move will sweep through her unevolved Magnemite. And since Steelix's special defense is so bad, another flamethrower can secure that one shot too, giving us the easiest badge number 7. Now, before we can continue on for the last badge, there's still the Team Rocket storyline to knock out. We can storm the radio tower to stop their plans, even getting a final evolution in as Charizard now joins the team. It's a pretty significant power spike as he can single-handedly outspeed all of Petrol's Coughing for an easy one-shot with Flamethrower. Silver's here to bug us at the Goldenrod basement, but since his team is still unevolved, it's pretty easy to just click our strongest move to take everyone out. At the heart of the basement, we can rescue the Director, and he grants us access to the Observation Tower to finish off Team Rocket for good. Archer is a clean sweep with Golduck, taking out Houndour and Coughing with a Surf apiece, and against his ace Houndoom, he actually outspeeds and hits us with a Bite, getting the flinch not once, but twice. And then he switches it up for a feint attack, dealing huge damage thanks to a critical hit and nearly taking us out. That was a very close call, but we can tank it on 4 HP to fire back with a Surf, one-shotting him and wrapping up the Team Rocket storyline for good. So with the Rage Candy Bar guy gone and Ice Path finally open for us, we can make our way into Blackthorn City for our final gym badge. We do a little bit of move relearning, but that's all I gotta do before heading in to take on the 8th and final gym leader. Clair leads with her Gyarados, and okay, this one was kinda tough to plan for, but I'm starting with our newly evolved Pidgeot. We need to nerf her attack with Feather Dance, while also tanking the incoming Dragon Rages. I'll throw on one Sand Attack for good measure, and after we're in KO range, we bring out Charizard for the assist. Air Slash has a 30% chance to flinch, which we get right away, and coupled with that Sand Attack from earlier, Gyarados cannot land an attack on us as we take him out a few turns later. And this baits out Kingdra for the water coverage, so that's our cue to switch into Machamp for a little bit of speed control. Kingdra struggling to connect with the Hydro, and our Quick Claw even helps us out to outspeed with a Rock Tomb, dropping their speed and letting us fire off powerful low kicks into her ace. And her Citrus even keeps her out of heal range, so another low kick and Kingdra goes down. And her remaining Dragonair are not an issue either, as the first one even activates our Guts ability thanks to a Thunder Wave, and then our Quick Claw procs on the next turn to ignore the speed drop. And then for the second one, we've been saving Golduck in the back this whole time, so a Choice Specs boosted Ice Beam easily finishes off our last Pokemon, earning us a well-fought badge number 8. Before we can swim over to Kanto to take on the Elite Four, we've still gotta earn the Kimono Girl's trust to take on Lugia. Their gauntlet isn't tough at all, since we have Scyther as our lead to U-turn out into whatever hard counter we need. And for Lugia, well, they do their little dance and summon him, but I'm just gonna throw the Master Ball to skip this battle. Oh, and on our way out, our sprite glitched out and we turned into a purple heart. I don't even know where this asset is normally used, but yeah, that was pretty funny. Sometimes stuff like this happens when you play on official hardware. That's officially Johto taken care of, but before we leave, I do have one last encounter to take care of. Back around Gym 7, we got access to the Safari Zone, and that's where we got our final encounter of this section, one of Blue's Pokemon that I've always wanted to use, a Rhyhorn. In the manga, Rhyhorn wasn't obtained until later in Blue's journey, around the same time as that radio incident for Exeggutor and Alakazam actually. He became a staple on Blue's team with some cool tech like spinning his horn in the opposite direction of Chuck's Hitmontop in order to counteract his spinning. Later on, Blue and Silver traded Pokemon while holding the Protector, allowing Rhydon to evolve into Rhyperior. Silver took care of him for a bit, and he ended up fighting Chuck and his Hitmontop again in the exact same manner. The two of them instantly recognized each other, and that helped Silver and Chuck gain each other's trust. That's the last thing we need to worry about in Johto, so we can set foot into Kanto and start preparing for the Elite Four Gauntlet. Lance is definitely the one I'm most scared of, since our only Ice Beam option is Golduck. And two of our evolutions are locked off until the post-game, so we're not allowed to use their boosted stats to help us out. I did scrounge together a decent strategy, so I've got my fingers crossed that it'll all work out. Will is up first, and Scyther's gonna be our dedicated answer. We can set up a Swords Dance as Xatu hits us with a decent Psychic, but since we always survive a crit, we're safe to start the sweep. Our Aerial Ace absolutely tears through his Xatu since we've got the Technician boost and our Stab boost and our +2 from Swords Dance. The rest of his team all get outsped and taken out, and that's including his bulky Slowbro, making that one down with 3 more to go. Koga is up next, and this time it's Charizard's time to shine. Flamethrower easily tears through his team of bug types, outspeeding and taking out Ariados in a single hit, along with his Forretress since this isn't Gen 5 sturdy yet. Muck is usually pretty tanky, but we can fraud our way through with the critical hit to bypass his bulk. Crobat lives on a sliver, but his Citrus puts him out of heal range, so we can just take him out on the next turns, and Venomoth obviously gets torched too, just like how Blue torched him in those first panels of the manga, meaning we are now at our halfway point with only 2 members left in our way. Bruno is third, and while we don't have a direct answer to his fighting types, we've got a good answer in Ninetales. We can set up some nasty plots as his lead Hitmontop tries going for counter, as well as setting up a Sunny Day for the Onix in the back. Then a +4 Flamethrower easily takes out his lead, baiting out Onix. But thanks to our Sunny Day, Solar Beam doesn't need that turn to charge up, so we can one-shot him as well. Then a few more +4 Flamethrowers, and the rest of Bruno's team gets swept through, giving us a very clean victory with only one more Elite Four member left. Karen is the last member, so we've got Machamp to start the battle against her Umbreon. Our fighting coverage easily handles her lead, taking him out with a few low kicks while barely taking any damage. Murkrow is baited out next, so Rhydon can get some time to shine thanks to our Rock Resist. Then Vileplume gets baited out, so we can clean that up with Charizard, but Houndoom gets a little scary since he sets up a nasty plot. But she gets greedy with a second one, so a single low kick can one-shot him. And last up is Gengar, but we've got the coverage with our slow payback, getting doubled to 100 base power and finishing off the final obstacle on our way to challenging the champion. Lance greets us in his gold-plated room, starting the final battle of the Johto stretch as he sends out Gyarados. My only play is to start with Golduck, sponging the Intimidate drop and forcing him to use a non-stab Dragon Pulse as we bring out Machamp. My only play is to use Rock Tomb, dropping his speed and letting us outspeed on the next turn to take him out. Charizard is out next, so we switch into Rhydon to sponge the Air Slash, but Charizard lands a critical hit. I'm confident we can live another one, and also we don't really have any good switch-ins, so I need Rhydon to stay in, and we tank it. We dodge the flinch, and we connect with a Stone Edge too, getting rid of this problematic Mon without losing any team members. Lance sends out Dragonite next, and now it's finally time. I didn't use Golduck against Charizard because we've got to preserve her health. And with the Choice Scarf equipped, bought for us by our mom thanks to the feature where she saves our money, we can outspeed his Dragonite and one-shot him with an Ice Beam, literally the only ice coverage we have on our team. Lance foolishly sends out another Dragonite, so we're feasting tonight as we chain the kill onto Dragonite number 2, and not only that, but onto his Aerodactyl as well, and his final Dragonite, bypassing his bulk and scoring the quad effective knockout, winning us the final battle and crowning us the new Johto champions. We can enter the Hall of Fame and technically end the Nuzlocke here, but the job's not done. Our team can still go further, so we boarded the SS Aqua and started our Kanto journey. After helping the old man find his granddaughter, he gives us the Metal Coat as a thank you, which helps us get a significant power boost as Scyther can now evolve into Scizor. I think technically we could have thiefed this off a Wild Magnemite, but since Scyther and Scizor's base stats are the same, I wanted to keep one set for the Johto side and the other set for the post-game Kanto side. Oh, another thing we can do is grab the Porygon gift from the Celadon Game Corner, finally unlocking Blue's last team member. In the manga, Blue also won him in the Game Corner, and one thing of note for him is he evolved into Porygon 2, but not Porygon Z. Honestly, I think if Blue got more screen time, especially in the later arcs, we would have saw the final Evo, but unfortunately, Porygon doesn't really make an appearance after the Gen 3 arcs. And then the last thing we can do is finally get the Protector inside Mount Mortar, which we can give to Rhydon to evolve him into Rhyperior, completing that arc of the journey. Porygon evolves into Porygon 2 as well, so that's the team basically finalized for the final battle and the true champion of SoulSilver. Red is standing at the top of Mount Silver, lowering his head as he accepts our challenge. He leads with his signature Pikachu, and we're going with our newly evolved Rhyperior for the counter. Pikachu outspeeds and hits us hard with a Light Ball boosted Iron Tail, but Rhyperior is a tank and easily survives it. We fire back with an Earthquake, and since he's just a Pikachu, that's an easy one-shot. Lapras comes out next, and to play around the super effective hit, we switch into our newest team member Porygon 2 to not only copy his shell armor, making us immune to critical hits, but also to hit back with Discharge. It's a 30% chance to paralyze, which we don't end up getting, but at the very least, we can outspeed on the next turn to take him out. The hail brings us super low, so as Blastoise comes out, I've gotta just let him go down to give us the clean switch. Machamp can come in to use max-powered low kicks, hitting the heavy turtle for huge damage, but Red actually switches into his own Charizard to tank it. I know that Air Slash is coming, so we've only got one good option. Rhyperior comes out, but Charizard lands a critical hit Air Slash. The hail brings us to 3 HP, and since we need that clean switch, we've got no choice but to let another one go down. Golduck's all that we have, so we can come in with our Choice Scarf to outspeed and finish him off with Surf, but then Venusaur immediately follows up. Luckily, Charizard is a good option, but we get put to sleep on the switch-in. All Venusaur's got to hit us with is his Sludge Bomb, so our newly evolved Scizor can be immune to it as we go for our Technician-boosted Aerial Ace, and it brings him to actually 1 HP. Venusaur puts us asleep as well, which is just getting annoying at this point, but luckily the hail can secure the kill for us. Blastoise comes out next, and this menace blasts us with the Hydro freaking Cannon, which targets our weaker special defense and takes out our MVP. And I'm sad to admit this, but I kinda needed that sack to happen. This means Blastoise is locked into a recharge turn, so we can bring out Machamp to finish him off, leaving only one last Pokemon. Red sends out Snorlax, and you already know what's coming. A max-powered low kick comes through, and since this isn't Red from the manga, he isn't able to use Harden, so Machamp easily scores the one-shot, securing us the victory and the challenge, meaning we have just completed this Nuzlocke. Hi guys. So I know normally this is where you're supposed to direct people to the next video to watch, but I wanted to jump in here and say a few things. So first, thank you guys for sticking with me on this manga break. My last manga video was December 24th for X's manga team, and after that, in February, my Pokemon Fire Red but everyone's fully evolved video blew up. That one's my #1 most viewed video right now, so I was like, Alright, let me try and get a new series going. I was kind of burnt out from doing manga Nuzlocks. Honestly, with these newer generation guys, the real answer is I just didn't read those mangas. So I don't really have that connection that I have with the original characters. And also, like Red and Blue, those guys kept popping up in the Gen 2 arc and the Gen 3 arc too. So me and definitely a lot of you guys have the strongest connection with them. Not to mention, all the newer characters have the worst teams I've ever seen. So I'm not really excited to use like Alolan Meowth for Sun's team, even though he's gotten a bunch of requests. Number one, because his Meowth doesn't evolve, and number two, because I don't really have a connection with him. I'm still gonna try my best. Either I'll juice up their EVs to help me out, or maybe have some workaround to let me evolve them to their fullest potential. Obviously, some stuff like Red's Pikachu, there's a reason why he's a Pikachu. If he evolved into Raichu, then it would go against the story, so I wouldn't do it. But like why, for example? Her Rhyhorn can stay a Rhyhorn because of the racing story, right? But why is Fletchinder unevolved? Canonically, she's level 34. Fletchinder evolves at level 35. So if I'm continuing her story to beat the Elite Four, obviously I'm gonna get to level 35, and at that point, I feel like Y would definitely let her evolve. But at that point, am I just doing fan fiction of the story since I'm doing my own headcanon to continue her plot? I don't know, man. It's something that I'm pretty conflicted on, so I'd love to hear your opinion. In the meantime, I'll throw up the last manga video I did, so feel free to click here and give it a watch. I promise if you like this video, then you'll definitely like that one. Alright, that's all I've got for now. Let me know your opinion on the manga question too. Okay, see ya.